Hello and welcome to the channel, it's Irad, and so in today's video we are going to once again talk about the ongoing Xenothreat event. Now in the previous video I talked about how I thoroughly enjoyed this Xenothreat event, which I find quite entertaining. I know that I got a lot of backlash for that video. Hey, if I'm enjoying something, I'm gonna say it. I'm not going to pretend that I don't like something if I like something, but I'm also not blind with the issues. Usually I always do an enthusiastic video first and then I talk about the issues. Why do I do that? That's because it takes more time to analyze the issues that we are encountering after playing it. So first I have to play it, I'm having a blast, but then I start to have a critical eye and see how we can improve. That's how I've always worked on the channel, and that's not going to change. So first things first, everyone is red. The UI is very confusing here, and I think that this really needs to change. That's something that I've noticed since the very first day, where I was actually targeting other players because I thought, oh, they're red, there must be griefers or there must be criminals. No, they were not. They were just regulars out there, which resulted in very awkward PvP fights where we didn't really want to PvP, but we were PvPing because he was red and I was acting in a red, so I was probably red too, and so we ended up killing each other where we should not have. And I think that as a result, this event is a griefing paradise, because the people who are really going out there to not participate in the event but actually kill all the players can do pretty much whatever they want, because they're going to be red anyway. Everybody is going to be red, and so they can just ruin the game experience for those who just want to enjoy the event the way it is. So that's really a problem, and this is something that CIG absolutely need to fix. Hey, maybe it's going to be fixed in 3.22, which is still not in Evo Caddy. I guess maybe the event will no longer be happening by then. Next, it is impossible to board the Idris, at least regularly, at least the way it is shown in the trailer. There's just no way that we can board the ship via the main doors in the front or at the back, simply because the ship is always moving, and also for some reason when the doors are open they close almost instantly. So there are other ways to board the ship. You can also board via a side door or maybe some kind of airlock. Some people have managed to do that, they got really lucky. Some people have glitched through the hull of the ship as well. I guess that's one way of doing it, although of course it's not ideal. So there's got to be a way to disable the Idris, or at least make it a little bit more stable. Alright, the next one is more problematic, and this has to do with full persistence. It's something that I have experienced yesterday, actually, when we flew the 890 jump destroyer with the Irad Club, a fully crewed 890 jump. We were actually destroying a lot of NPCs until, for some reason, although the ship was at full health and full shields, we blew up for absolutely no reason, as you'll be able to see on the footage. And that's probably because we ran into some kind of debris that the game was not even rendering but was still considered to be there, and that was an issue. This was not the first time that this happened. In fact, it happened quite a few times with other tries. When we tried, for example, to have a Gladiator Squadron, we just randomly died for absolutely no reason. It seemed like we were crashing into something, we had no missile alert, no nothing, and then we just blew up, and that's also probably the reason why. I've also noticed that the NPCs do have ramming tactics, which is also quite a problem. When we had our session with the Red Club here, some arrows just rammed into us, and that also happened when we were flying with fighters too. So the NPCs, I've heard that the NPCs have learned from the best techniques from the best players, and this has been implemented into NPC behavior, as we could read in monthly reports. Well, it seems that they have also integrated the ramming tactics, which is something that perhaps we don't want to see in a game. Alright, last but not least, it seems that the game itself is sometimes quite confused. I've seen iterations of the event in which the enemy hammerheads would attack their own Idris. This is really confusing. I thought that these were players, but then I realized that these were actually Xenothreat hammerheads, because sometimes, and this is something that really is really confusing, sometimes the enemy Idris is not red but is considered gray, like a neutral target, and this be perhaps the reason why these Xenothreat NPCs are attacking their own Idris, so that's also something that CIG need to fix. But sometimes the game does think that we are the enemy as well. For example, when we go back to the station, the Pyro Gateway Station, this has happened quite a few times. The Pyro Gateway Station actually attacked us and starting sending volleys of missiles, and there's just nothing that we could do. We were able to go back inside the hangar, but then as soon as we went out, we were targeted and destroyed. And that's really frustrating, even though we didn't have any crime stats. Alright, one more thing that CIG need to fix for this event. Capital ships do not have UI in the MFDs, and that's really a problem. So we cannot see the self status or the status of the target. We cannot see if the Idris is losing his shields, for example, in the MFDs. But if we are flying capital ships as well, it doesn't show anything when it comes to our own status. So that's also something that needs to be fixed, perhaps in the hot patch, right? Anyway, that's what I had to say about the issues regarding the Xenothreat event. Let me know in the comment section down below if you encountered other issues. I know that some of you may have issues with frames or some little freezings perhaps. How about stability? Have you had a lot of 30Ks perhaps, or server disconnects? Let me know in the comment section down below as well. That is all for this video. A big shout out to everybody who helps this channel on Patreon via the Join membership program, including Dr. Fabin, Zero Crusher, The Pro, Fidel, Ducky to Ducker, and Shadow Rise. I've been Iran. I'll see you guys in the next one.